The Arizona Republican Party got some backlash on Tuesday after a couple of tweets encouraged Trump supporters to die for Trump in his efforts, of course, to overturn the election. Now, on Monday, the group retweeted a man named Ali Alexander. So now Ali Alexander is one of the leaders of, quote unquote, Stop the Steal. Okay. Now, that's ironic because that entire movement is actually trying to help the president do a soft coup to perpetuate his own steal because he didn't win the election legitimately. And so he wanted the electors to literally overturn the results in the states. And of course, it's all based on conspiracy theories of voter fraud, electoral fraud, etc. And none of it has been substantiated. Nonetheless, the delusion continues. In fact, Alexander wrote in this tweet, "I am willing to give my life for this fight." Oh, I feel sorry for you. Oh, giving your life up for Donald Trump? The guy who doesn't give two shits about you, wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire? That guy? You die for that guy? What a sad, sad individual. Holy shit. And yet, the Arizona GOP Twitter account retweets that and says, "He is. Are you?" No! Nobody with a goddamn brain would do. And I'm not, look, and here's the thing. I wouldn't do that for any politician. I'm sorry, I wouldn't die for Bernie Sanders. I love Bernie Sanders. God bless his heart. I'm not dying for him. I'm not dying for anybody. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay. And so it's ridiculous because, and here's the thing. Most people wouldn't do that because we're not cultists. Okay. We're not, oh, my great leader. Oh, great leader Pelosi. Oh, I would, no, don't care. Don't give a shit. Okay. I'm not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Most people aren't. Okay. And you know what? He wouldn't ask. You're absolutely right. Bernie Sanders would not ask somebody to die for him, but Donald Trump does all the time. In fact, he says, I could go shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and I still wouldn't lose any followers. He's right. He could probably shoot one of his followers and still not lose any followers. Real conservative values. And if that wasn't clear enough, by the way, about an hour later, that same Twitter account, the Arizona GOP, it's the official Republican account for the Republican Party of Arizona. And this was pointed out by my friend Brianna Westbrook. The GOP tweeted a clip from the 2008 film Rambo, in which the character issues a call to action to soldiers, saying, "This is what we do, who we are, live for nothing or die for something." What, Trump's wrinkly old ass? That's what you die for? What? A wealthy New York fail son who was a reality TV show and then was a terrible, the worst president I've ever had in my lifetime. And I lived through George W. Bush. Okay? George W. Bush was better. And he was an absolute disaster than Donald Trump. Oh my God. No, this is totally an example of conservative values right there. I mean, greed, narcissism, lack of humility, disdain for the poor and minorities. It's a perfect match for the current Republican Party. Anyway, now, there was backlash, as I mentioned, okay? And so the Arizona GOP realized that they went too far. And they deleted the Rambo tweet because they were worried about copyright. They left the other one up, though. Now, that's perfectly fine. In fact, Zachary Henry, spokesman for the Arizona GOP, cited concerns about copyright and fair use when asked about the removal of the Rambo tweet. Of course. Way to ignore that first one, where they were, again, literally asking if you would be willing to die for Trump. And somebody saying, "Oh, yes, I would. Oh, I absolutely would. He is willing to die for Trump, aren't you? You poor huddled masses who we don't give a fuck about, who we continue to extract everything from." The Republican Party only serves billionaires. And that's really it. That they're a money funneling scheme from the poor to the very rich. How people don't see and understand that, there's a lot of propaganda involved. There's a lot of propaganda involved. Holy shit. But like I said, okay, look, you might think, dude, it's just a tweet. You're freaking out too much. Normally, I would agree with you. Okay, normally, in a normal time, say 2015, like, are you willing to die for Mitt Romney? Be like, that's a little weird, but okay, I'm not really worried about that. It's not like they're really saying that they would die for Mitt fucking Romney. I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah, imagine that, right? That was their standard bearer back in 2012. Like, oh, Mitt Romney. Of course, you'd never see people like Romney 2012, like in the comment section of your video, my videos, right? Not like you would see with Donald Trump. So that is it is a cult mentality that is going on here. And that's what's got people worried because, again, you know, if you do something like that, like back in 2012, you think, okay, maybe you're just being a bit hyperbolic, right? A little bit of hyperbolic rhetoric. That's fine. It's politics. It's full of hyperbolic rhetoric. But it's different now. Things are way different. We do not live in normal times. We are not dealing with a normal Republican Party. They're not a conservative party. They're a reactionary cult filled with brainwashed people that listen to alternative facts. And that's what's going on here. We have militias and right-wingers that are calling for violent attacks against Democrats and liberals. Now, I understand that they're the fringe, right? And that, you know, most likely we're not going to see any sort of widespread violence, and that's good. But those people do exist. We had the governor of Michigan almost get kidnapped and executed as a result of Donald Trump basically saying, oh, look, mask mandate, free Michigan, free Michigan. We also had people pointing guns at unarmed Black Lives Matter protesters, the McCloskeys. You remember those people? Look, we have a situation. We have a country right now where we have political divisions that are at record highs. So yeah, when somebody on the right, who, you know, again, because their rhetoric has devolved into a lot of violent type of rhetoric. And it's been bad, but it's gotten worse over the years, especially during the Trump administration. And so when somebody says this, stuff like this, who, you know, believes in demonstrably false things and is supporting a soft coup in the courts, which is what the Stop the Steal thing was all about, or, you know, baseless conspiracy theories, when they start talking about how they're ready to die for Trump, I get super concerned. More so than you know that I want to be, but it again, very concerned. And to that end, by the way, the Arizona GOP did not respond to a request for comment about what they meant when it asked if people were willing to give their lives for Stop the Steal, and whether the pair of tweets could be viewed as encouraging violence. And I'm sorry, I said the Arizona GOP, I meant Stop the Steal, that specific group. That makes people even more concerned. For example, Philadelphia Inquirer opinion columnist Will Bunch, here's what he tweeted. If some random Yahoo in Arizona kills somebody in the name of Trump staying in office, will Arizona's GOP chair Kelly Ward be charged as an accessory? That's a good question. And then, look, more recently, well, not more recently, but last week, you had a Georgia Republican official, Gabriel Sterling, who has received threats. He's a Republican. He's been threatened by Republicans for certifying the election results. Okay. And he was imploring President Trump to come out and say, or to come out and, quote, stop inspiring people to commit potential acts of violence. Someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get shot. Someone's going to get killed. And it's not right. This guy knows his side more than anybody. Okay, he understands the danger that the Trump cult, that they represent. And again, the extremist part of this, you know, group of people are the dangerous ones. And so they're the ones that you have to worry about. And you know what's funny too, right? Here's the thing about conservative ideology that really kind of just gets me, right? The lack of accountability for the community. Okay, all the focus is on personal responsibility, right? So now that focus actually allows you to be able to ignore the responsibility to others in the nation at large. Okay, and so, like, I'll tell you what's going to happen if some Yahoo goes and attacks somebody for, voter fraud. Okay, the same Republicans who are asking you if you would be willing to die for Trump would look at that and be like, "Oh, lone wolf. That's a lone wolf. Crazy person. Had nothing to do with that. Terrible thing that happened. Oh, whoa, wow. Terrible. Personal responsibility. I can't believe somebody would do something like that after we egged them on. I mean, I can't believe you liberals are always blaming other people for your problems. And personal responsibility. We take personal responsibility for everything we do. Except that, when we egg people on to the point of actually picking up a gun and doing some violence against somebody else, we had nothing to do with that whatsoever. Oh, what are you talking about? Words don't influence people. Oh, no, nobody's influenced by anyone else ever. Nobody ever influences anyone else to do other things. I mean, all that stuff that we pump into your head about liberals not being patriotic. They hate America. Obama hates America. Oh, they hate you. They hate the country. They're gonna come get you. They're gonna take your stuff. They're gonna break into your house. They're gonna rape your wife. They're gonna kill you, and they're gonna do all this terrible stuff to you. And then when somebody grabs a gun and says, "Oh my God, I don't want that to happen. Oh, I don't want the Antifa to break into my house, and the Black Lives Matter to kill me and my wife. Oh my God!" And they grab their gun. They do something. Well, that same group that pushes all this bullshit, this is, I can't believe anything like that would happen. Wow, we completely, I didn't see that one coming. Must have been a lone wolf. Crazy person. And more often than not, too, there are people that try to dig up that past of that person and be like, I can't believe that liberal. Can't believe that liberal would do something like that. Crazy. We got to do something about the left. It happens all the time. I mean, just go and even look on conservative Twitter, or I guess it would be Parler now, and you would see that after every shooting by a right-wing individual, you got people going and digging up and saying, "Oh, look at that. He must be a Democrat," when it's obvious that they're not. They are just rooted and mired in conservative, and not even conservative, in Republican Party ideology, the extreme fringe right. I mean, that's what we're facing here. Okay, there's griftiness, and then there's no self-awareness as well. But that's like the great, it's sort of the great get out of responsibility free card that they always give themselves and always seem to get away with somehow. But that's unfortunately the situation that we're in and what we face with the modern Republican Party, the party of Donald Trump. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.